Good morning and welcome to another Daily Churchill Speeches. Today, again, reading from Never Give In, a collection of speeches put together by Mr. Churchill's grandson. Today, not as long, still a good length, but it is about the Jews. This is about March of 1936 for some context. So let's jump right in. The Right Honorable Gentleman has assured us that the mandate and the Balfour Declaration are safe, but I personally feel great doubts about that. If you have an Arab majority, undoubtedly you will have continued friction between the principle of the Balfour Declaration and the steps that must be taken day by day and month by month to give effect to that declaration and the wishes of the Arab majority. I should have thought that it would be a very great obstruction to the development of Jewish immigration into Palestine and to the development of the national home of the Jews there. I have no hostility for the Arabs. I think I made most of the settlements over 14 years ago governing the Palestine situation. The Emir Abdullah is in Transjordania, where I put him one Sunday afternoon at Jerusalem. I acted upon the advice of that very great man, Colonel Lawrence, who was at my side in making the arrangements, which I believe have stood the test of time and many changes of government throughout the Middle East. But I cannot conceive that you will be able to reconcile at this juncture and at this time the development of the policy of the Balfour Declaration with the Arab majority in the Legislative Council. I did not feel a bit convinced of it, even though Sir Andrew Walker may be of that opinion. I did not feel convinced when I see so many other people who have studied the matter and who are friends of Palestine, friends of the Arabs, friends of the Jews, who view this departure at the present moment with the very greatest misgiving. We are doing very fine work in Palestine at the present moment. When I traveled through the country a little more than a year ago, I was enormously impressed with the order and smoothness with which the administration was being conducted. If you go into neighboring countries like Syria, you see that there is also order and progress, but enormous military forces are used. Scores of thousands of troops are maintained in the country. I always consider that our administration must be judged in comparison with these countries, not by the fact that they can govern with overwhelming military forces. Anyone can do that. But that we can conduct progressive administration with comparatively small forces that we employ in those areas. Do not be in a hurry to overrun, overturn, or overthrow the existing system. It is working very well. It is not as though it had got into such a state that you said that you could not go on anymore with the present administration, and that although your local government institutions have completely failed up to date or have made no success of their experiment, nevertheless you must plunge into the larger field. That is not the position. You are in the full tide of a successful experiment in British administration, and your local government is moving forward in a very slow manner. Surely, therefore, you can afford to wait for some other time. Does the Right Honourable Gentleman mean to say that if, under the advice of Parliament, or under the persuasion which reaches him from any quarter, he decided that this matter could not go forward this year or next, but that he would wait for some other time? Does he suggest that he would feel himself guilty of a breach of faith, of a breaking of the pledge even to the League of Nations? It is absurd. I have not the slightest doubt that if our representatives at Geneva explained the position as it had been explained in this House from every branch, they would get cordial support for not taking this step at the present moment from the authority whom they have the right to consult. I have been speaking of this matter in connection with Palestine, but of course there is in our minds an added emphasis upon this question of Jewish migration, which comes from other quarters. This is at a time when the Jewish race is a great country, is being subjected to most horrible, cold, scientific persecution, brutal persecution, a cold program, as it has been called. People reduced from affluence to ruin, and then even in that position denied the opportunity of earning their daily bread, and cut out even from relief by grants to the schools to which they have to go. Every form of concentrated human wickedness cast upon these people by overwhelming power, by vile tyranny. I say that when that is the case, surely the House of Commons will not allow the one door which is open, the one door which allows some relief, some escape from these conditions, to be summarily closed, nor even allow it to be suggested that it may be obstructed by the course which we now take.